gonna start putting my cards away, but I guess I'll just. Oh,
Here we
got
go.
it.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, here we go.
Woo! Well, I
And,
wanted to do
did you
the
make this
Apex
using
Predators.
Google Slides or Canva?
Lesson 3, guys. Huh? What'd you say?
Did you make this using Google Slides or Canva? Because I looked at the pictures and none of them looked like this.
Well, I use Google Slides, but I used
Did you like import the pictures or did you search the web?
I did both of them. I used a template, so it kind of does it for me sometimes. That's not important. Sorry.
Yeah, and exactly. Where is the stage official?
So they had to leave because I think they had a thing during this time. So I'm just hosted the meeting now, so that means I'll be recording and everything. But it's okay because all the recordings will still be posted on the Discord and the website, so you'll be able to find it later.
So will it show you saying that?
Oh yeah, they also left in astronomy. Yeah, and
Don't do astronomy.
Oh, I take astronomy, and oh, never mind.
Okay. So I guess you guys kind of already broke the ice, but just to like warm up a little bit. Oh yeah, Edwin entered the waiting room now. If I can find my mouse, dang it. Dang it. So I don't know if anybody wants to share what their favorite class is and what ecosystem you chose to do your project on. Maybe Anna can go first because she hasn't talked yet.
Okay.
Okay, my favorite class at school is social studies, and I didn't have time to start the project yet.
Oh, that's okay. I know it was like not.
Can I do it now? Can I do it now?
Sure.
My favorite class in school is the reading. And also I haven't started my project yet. I've been busy the last week. But I do have an idea of what I want to do.
That's good. That's okay. Yeah, I've been busy too. Viola?
My favorite class in school is a reading workshop. It's kind of like Tim's. We basically write what we're reading inside our log, and we can't do another book unless it's like too hard, too boring, disturbing. So we gotta finish the book before we read another one. And every 4 books, we have to read at least one fiction and one nonfiction. The nonfiction is like so boring. I can only read the fiction ones, and my Lexo level is too high for the favorite books. And I already did the first 3 sides for my Google Slides, and I chose Coral Reef.
Really interesting.
If the nonfiction book is a history book, I'd like it. Any other type of nonfiction book, I'd probably not like.
I like fairy tales, tall tales, and legends. The kind of like remake one, like Percy Jackson series.
I love Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah, it's like so cool.
Yeah.
On YouTube, I've seen there's a new movie. There's gonna be a movie about it.
There is soon, yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm reading Trials of Apollo right now.
Oh yeah, I'm reading Heroes of Olympus. I already finished Trials of Apollo, and it's like so hard to keep up with everything because Heroes of Olympus was supposed to go before Trials of Apollo, so I'm having trouble keeping up. Wait, what?
Yeah, Viola.
I'm on book 3 of Trials of Apollo.
Oh, sorry about that. My dad was calling.
It's okay.
There's
if you guys
where my mouse is covering, it says AI companion.
I don't know.
What do you mean, team?
That might just be something on your screen, guys. But
at the bottom, it says AI companion. I don't know what that is. I know what AI is, but I don't. Okay, then go, Singminjin.
Um,
Could Edward, did you want to share something? Or it's okay if you want to put it in the chat too.
Who are you talking to?
Edwin?
uh,
509.
509? Ah.
5010 now.
Yeah.
Why does your screen go to a black finish with your name on it?
It's because
Oh
they're
yeah, I
printers,
accidentally
Leon.
slid in. Were you talking to me? Because I accidentally slid into audio and I got it back, I guess.
Tim, Viola, I'm gonna start going on with the lesson now, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
Definitely
obviously
okay.
our class rules, don't be afraid to ask questions. Kind of already said all this last time,
Yeah.
but if you could, please don't spam the chat. I know we had a little bit of a problem with that last class.
Oh yeah,
So
all the
it's
octopus,
relevant.
the sea urchin. Wait, was it pufferfish? Yeah, it was
I don't know,
pufferfish.
octopus, all that.
What did you do? Weren't you part of it?
I don't remember anything about octopus, pufferfish, and sea urchins.
I don't remember.
Maybe I
anything
just
either
never
because
checked the.
I was gone for 1 hour and 30 minutes of the lesson.
It's okay. But also, guys, this next rule, kind of important. If you guys could remain muted when I'm teaching the lesson, and then at the end of the slide, you can raise your hand to speak, and then I'll call on you to share all your opinions, if that's okay. Because otherwise, you're talking over each other, and I can't hear some of the people. But thank you. And then also, as Viola said, I would love for your camera to be on. Oh no. Because it is kind of hard talking to a black screen, but it's okay. I can see her face, and yeah, I can see your names, and also just have fun because obviously this isn't a required class. But now on for the course syllabus. We are in week 3, so we're almost halfway. After this, we'll be halfway done with this class. Today we're doing food webs and apex predators. So I know we did some of this lesson last time because I made the other one too short. But just as a preview, does anybody want to share what they remember from our last class on what is an ecosystem? I saw Tim's hand first, and then Anna and Viola, if you want to do the next ones.
Do you want me to do like what is an ecosystem?
Yeah.
An ecosystem is where like non-living things and living things create a habitat where things can dinghy and dinghies and can dinghy.
Where they're all related? Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And then Anna, do you want to explain what biotic versus
Okay, so basically, biotic is living, abiotic is not living.
Mm-hmm. And biotic includes all the animals and everything. And then Viola, I know you weren't here, but if you want to list some of the ecosystems.
Oh, I read the slides.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure they were salt marshes, mangrove forests, coral reefs, open ocean, and kelp forest.
Yeah. And
And
also, this is what we did in this lesson last time, but does anybody want to summarize predator, prey, producer, and consumer? It's okay if you don't remember. Viola?
predators are the things that eat animals, and prey are the things that get eaten.
Mhm.
Technically, predator is prey. Prey gets eaten by predators, and producers produce like energy, like seaweed. They get them from the sun, and I suppose the sun is a producer too. And consumers eat producers, like sea urchins eat seaweed, which is an example of producer eats consumers or food chain.
That's really true. Though I think I'm gonna add on to that definition a little bit in class today too. Tim, did you want to say something or?
Last class you said that consumer is a plant, and you said any living thing is a consumer. Consumer because they
Uh,
eat other stuff.
I said that all animals are consumers,
I know.
and then all plants are producers, but because they're both alive, but they do different things.
Well,
But
not
good job.
necessarily
What else?
all
What
plants.
else? What also is a producer besides plants?
Plants are the main ones. There are different, there's also things like phytoplankton, which are like mini microscopic things that still do photosynthesis. But we'll go over that later in this lesson. So we're gonna get,
Also, we didn't go over decomposers.
yeah, that's also what we're doing today. But just as a review, this is what you guys said. Predators, organisms that eat other living things, and then prey are animals that are eaten by other animals. And I have a question for you guys. Do you think that prey can also be a predator? Or that a predator can also be prey?
Yes.
Yeah, unless it's an apex predator.
Yeah.
Well,
Apex predators don't usually get eaten.
yeah. So prey can eat other stuff like fish can eat phytoplankton, zooplankton, ET, etc. And predators like I guess a fish could is also a predator and it could be eaten by sharks. So it's a prey now.
Yeah, good job. And then also, as I said, you guys already kind of defined producer and consumer, sorry. But one thing I want to say is that another word, a synonym for producer is autotroph. Auto means automatically, right? And troph kind of means like producing their own energy. So producers make their own energy using the sunlight, which is
Automatic energy producer.
kind of. And then consumer means consumer, the synonym for that is heterotroph. Hetero means different. So it means they get the energy from a different source. So they don't produce it by themselves. That's basically what it means. So just keep those in mind because we're going to be using them interchangeably over this lesson. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then also just as a, does anybody not know what herbivore, omnivore, and carnivore are? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard it in class. Herbivores only eat plants. Carnivores only eat meats. Omnivores, they eat both of them. Humans are omnivores because we eat vegetables and like chickens. So yeah, pretty basic. But this is something that we didn't learn last time. I believe Anna brought it up. But another really important part are decomposers. Okay, so decomposers are also organisms, but they, instead of eating other things or producing their own energy, they eat dead organisms and dead plants. And by doing that, they carry out something called decomposition, which is basically putting the nutrients that were in that dead food back into the earth. Like if you were a worm and then you ate a plant and you ate like a dead plant and then that dead plant, it would turn back into soil and the nutrients would be recycled.
So I'm guessing the terms that worms, sorry, this is a bit gross. Worms make soils or technically expelled from their back end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to say that, but it's okay. So basically the role of decomposers is to kind of speed up this process. Decomposition will happen naturally. It just takes a really long time. So that's why we have decomposers, so that the nutrients can go back in and then they can be recycled when the producers use them to grow.
Wait, won't it like like poop it out and then there.
Yeah, and then that's the soil that turns into the nutrients.
Ew.
Or that
Speaking
was.
of which, I think there's a type of fish that uh eats something and then breaks it down and then poops it out as sand.
Yeah, that's a parrotfish. Parrotfish, they're part of the coral reef ecosystem, which I mentioned last time. So they do eat coral and then their poop turns into sand, but that's only in a few specific beaches. So, but that's right. And then this is just kind of more of an example of what decomposers do because they're very important. See all this waste, things from plants and also things from animals, they all go here and into this dead matter, which is called detritus. And then they often by bacteria, especially in the ocean, because obviously there's no worms except for marine worms, but those are very rare. So most of the decomposers in the ocean are bacteria. So that's what we're going to be concerned with today. And then the bacteria turns all this stuff back into the nutrients. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. I believe we went over this last time, right? I think so. But a food chain obviously shows which organisms eat each other in a specific ecosystem. Yeah, I got the thumbs up. Thanks, guys. But I think this is where we stopped, maybe around where we stopped. So we know that a food chain, it follows one path from one organism to another to another. And it shows us who eats who, right? But a food web is basically if you take all the organisms in one ecosystem and you take all the food chains and you combine it all into one really messy paper, a really messy chain. So you can see how this chain right here, giant kelp, sea urchin to sea otter is right here with kelp, sea urchin, and sea otter. But kelp also goes everywhere else too. So I saw Viola's hand and then Tim's.
The food web doesn't necessarily have to be messy. I remember I done it once and it was organized.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it look more organized, but it's just, there's a lot of arrows. It's a lot more complicated.
Complicated.
Yeah, that's a better word. Tim?
Okay, so they use food chains and food webs in like the project,
Mm-hmm.
like the mini project about the
Oh.
ecosystem. Do you use food chains and food webs?
You are going to create your own food chain and food web, yeah. And
But not actually create your own, because you're not gonna make a world where Legos eat plastic and
No, yeah.
plastic eats Legos.
Actually, that's a good
I'll-
idea.
I'll show you what I mean later. Viola, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Are we going to be covering food pyramids this lesson or the next one?
This one.
Cool.
So
That
yeah.
means I could do it like
that in mind.
this week.
Okay, and then this is just another example. You see how all these are food chains and then they get combined into, or this one, or no, sorry, this one gets combined into a larger food web. But that's just so you can visualize it. This is what
also
we're talking
about-
about, right?
About that food web back there, do flies eat apples?
Flies eat apples. Yeah. Fruit flies?
That did not look like a fruit fly.
There's also a different kind of fruit fly and injects their eggs into the fruit and makes it all mushy and stuff.
That's true. I think for our purposes, these food webs are going to be very, very basic. We won't put specific species, I think. Because then it gets really hard. You're going to have thousands of organisms. We're going to try to keep it a little simpler than that.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So
Why,
this is
may I-
what this is what Viola was talking about.
Uh,
The levels of a food web. Each level is called a trophic level, right? So,
Perfect.
what were you saying?
Not really, no. Nothing.
Okay.
Or like,
So the trophic levels, the very first one, they're all producers. That means they're all plants or phytoplankton or anything else that uses photosynthesis to make energy. And then the rest, all of these trophic levels here, these are all consumers. So these are all animals. The second trophic level are something called primary consumers. Primary means first. So these are the things that only eat plants. So obviously they're herbivores, as you can know. The third trophic level is also called secondary consumers. These don't always have to be carnivores, they can be omnivores, and same goes for all of these up here. But yeah, it's just, you know how if I go back to this right here, all of these would be considered the first trophic level. Tim, do you have a question?
Can you go forward a slide? Okay. What's the difference between secondary carnivores and carnivores? What's the difference?
Okay. So secondary carnivores are carnivores that eat the other carnivores.
That's but why are they secondary? Not other carnivores are secondary. Why is the secondary at the top higher?
Well, see, these are secondary consumers, right? That means they're the second level of consumers. But these are called secondary carnivores because they're the second level of carnivores, because the primary consumers here all have to be herbivores, right? Because they're eating plants.
Like when you level up in a video game where you're level 1 and then you upgrade to level 2
Yeah.
and then you upgrade to level 3, which is Apex Predators.
Yeah, think about it like that. That's a good analogy.
Video game.
So then obviously at the very, very top we have apex predators, right? Those are
Yeah. Yeah, and then the decomposers are the people who collect your stuff when you die in a video game.
yeah, sure. And then apex predators, nothing eats them. So they're always at the very top of the pyramid. Tim, did you have a question?
Why are the decomposers apex predators fourth tropic level, third tropic, second, and first? How are they everything combined together? Smushed up.
What do you mean everything combined together?
See the decomposers, right?
Yeah. Oh, why does
Yes,
everything
why is it in the entire pyramid?
Because decomposers break down everything that's dead, right? And then everything here, the plants and the animals, they can
everything can die.
And then the decomposers get that once they die.
Aren't humans also apex predators?
We are. Nothing eats us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except if they want us for a snack.
Well,
unlikely.
but I think we have the technology to avoid that. So,
What about mosquitoes?
well, we also kill mosquitoes, but
Well, mosquitoes are
But
apex.
they still can bite you.
that's true.
Just adding something. Mosquitoes, I think they're not apex predators, but they're kind of apex predators because mosquitoes carry deadly diseases that can humans. And to whoever likes video games and or programs, they should definitely make a video game that's called Levels of a Food Web. So yeah.
That would be good, actually.
Yeah, that might be actually a good learning game. Someone might be able to like code that.
Good idea. Maybe
Cool.
you can grow up and code your
Me.
food level video
I do
game.
Python.
Really? I don't know. I'm learning Java, but
Me
it's
too.
I do
Really?
Python too. And when I grow up, I want to start a company, so maybe I can have my company do that.
You don't
like a
need
good
your
idea.
company to make entire video game. Although Nintendo did do that for Mario, but scratch that off the list.
Let's just do the lesson.
Yeah, a good idea. I think so. This is obviously the same pyramid that we just saw, right? With the primary producers, primary consumers, all those. But there's something called energy transfer, which is, I believe I mentioned it earlier. It's when you eat something, you get that energy, right? Like when you eat an apple and then all that energy that was in the apple, you now have to use. Does that make sense? Yeah, Viola?
You said something about you have to eat 10 strawberries to get the energy of 1 strawberry. So technically you have to eat 10 apples to get the energy of 1 apple.
Yeah,
That's-
I'm getting to that. So, so when you go up a level, you're basically taking 10% of that energy that was in the original organism, because, and then the rest of that energy, the other 90% is lost as heat, often through cellular respiration in animals, which is when you breathe.
What's cellular respiration?
You know when it's a really cold day outside and then you breathe and you see your breath and it's foggy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because your breath is warm, right? It's warmer than the air and it's condensating. So then all that heat that was in your body leaves when you breathe out. So that's where most of the energy that we consume is going. Does that make sense? Yes.
Well, there's actually a food web game on here,
Really? On the internet?
on the App Store.
Oh. Well, maybe you can't get it patented, but and then so obviously moving on, looking at this pattern, you can see that there's gonna be a lot more plants than there's gonna be apex predators, because each time, say you have like 100 plants, and then those 100 plants are enough to feed 10 mice. And then, but those 10 mice are only enough to feed 1 hawk. So those 100 plants, theoretically, is only enough to feed 1 hawk, meaning that there has to be a lot more of these primary producers and primary consumers than there are apex predators in an ecosystem. Yes? If you guys could thumbs up or something. Okay. So this is, I kind of mentioned it earlier. So autotrophs are producers, right? But then in the ocean, especially at the colder regions and in the deeper regions, phytoplankton make up 95% of all those producers. This is because plants have to grow at the bottom of the ocean, so they can really only grow in shallower waters, because the sunlight has to reach them in order for them to make their own food. So that's why phytoplankton, which is like teeny tiny microscopic plants, that's this one right here. Oh no, this one right here. Those kind of stay at the surface of the water, and then those are eaten by zooplankton, which are these. They're also teeny tiny, but they're animals. Viola, did you have a comment, question?
Phyto, I guess phyto means plants. Those are like plant plankton, and zoo means like animals. Those are like animal plankton, because zooplankton looks like a teeny weird little animals, and phytoplankton just looks like plant organisms.
Good observation. Phyto actually means light. But you're really close. Think of like photography. That also has the phyto prefix. It's because you're using light imaging. So phytoplankton uses light to make food. But you're right. And this is where we're gonna do more of an interactive thing. So I'm gonna go out of presentation mode. Can you guys see the thing still? And here's where I want you guys to unmute and tell me where you want each thing to go. So obviously we have phytoplankton, which is our producer, and zooplankton. But do you want to tell me what eats zooplankton, one of these, and then what eats that? Viola.
Okay, so krill eats zooplankton, and Arctic cod eats krill, and I'm pretty sure that penguins eat Arctic cods, and seals eat penguins. Oh no, I'm not no. Penguins and seals both eat Arctic cod, and orcas eat both seals and penguins.
Yeah, you're kind of getting into a food chain. Just tell me one line of 4. So 1, 2, 3, and then one.
Phytoplankton, zooplankton, Arctic cod, penguin, orca.
So do you want to put penguin?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I forgot my arrows. Anna, did you want to do another one or?
Oh, I just wanted to elaborate on what I said earlier and saying also, to no surprise, Legends of Learning also has a food web game. To
Mhm.
nobody's surprise.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Maybe you can make a better one. Who knows? But so Viola, you're absolutely right. Everything here is kind of connected, but you know how a food chain is just one straight line. So I would do something like this, because you want to just pretend there's arrows there. Because you want to put them into one really easy to follow, one after the other line when you're making a food chain. Everybody good with that? Okay. But now this is a little more complicated. How would you guys build a food web? So where do you want to connect our zooplankton?
Can I do it?
Sure.
Okay, it's obvious. I already know that orcas eat penguins. Arctic seals eat penguins. Seals eat Arctic cod. Whoa, those lines are curvy.
Yeah, so where did you want to go? Arctic
Arctic
seals?
seals too, penguin.
I don't think Arctic seals eat penguins.
Um,
Do they? They
yeah,
might. Oh, my bad. Okay.
I'm pretty sure they do.
They might. I might have forgotten. Okay. Arctic seal to penguin. Arctic seal to orca.
Penguin to Arctic cod.
Which way do you want the arrow to face?
Just anywhere. It's fine.
So the arrow shows the direction of, or the flow of energy, right? So is the Arctic cod eating the penguin, or is the penguin eating the?
Penguin eating the Arctic cod.
Yeah, so the arrow would face towards the penguin because the penguin is receiving
And the baleen whale would eat the krill.
Sorry?
The baleen whale will eat the
would eat
krill.
krill. Yeah.
And also orcas eat penguins.
Orcas do eat penguins. So you want to make a line there. Anna?
What's the difference between phytoplankton and zooplankton?
So phytoplankton is a producer. It's a plant basically, because it does photosynthesis, but zooplankton are actually animals. So they have to eat the phytoplankton in order to survive.
Looks like a really tiny shrimp.
Yeah. They're related, I believe.
So
They're cute.
the zooplankton eats their cousin, the phytoplankton.
I wouldn't really call them cousins because they're very different.
Yeah, I know they're very different.
Yeah.
But you said they were related.
They are related because they're both microscopic. Like you can't see them with your naked eye.
They're both plankton.
Why do you say naked eye instead of normal eye?
That's just the scientific term for it because when your eye is like looking through a microscope, you're seeing things that are magnified. So it's just how they say it. Viola? You guys, we got to keep doing this food chain or food web.
Can I just add that why is bacteria on here? Because phytoplankton is a producer, and last time I checked, zooplankton do not eat bacteria.
They do not.
So why is bacteria on there in the first place?
Well, what do you think bacteria does in an ecosystem?
Oh yeah.
Breaks down
Oh,
dead
they
things.
are decomposers.
Yeah. So technically we should have an arrow going from everything to bacteria, but just imagine it because that's a lot of arrows.
Yes.
And this is already messy enough.
Yeah, we're not even done, guys.
Why
Zooplankton?
is Viola crying sign?
What
why?
eats zooplankton? Guys,
Green whale?
no, they're too small for them to eat.
Articon?
Yeah. What else? Think about the smaller animals.
Krills.
Krills. So obviously this is not a complete food chain. I think for the sake of time, I'm just gonna show you guys the complete food chain. If it works. So you can see we have a few more because obviously krill go to a lot of things, but you can see how the levels are not always very clear, right? Because by this, Arctic cod should technically be considered a secondary consumer, but it could also be considered a tertiary consumer because it eats krill, which eat zooplankton. Is that, everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot more complicated than just different levels. And obviously bacteria, they do everything. But what are these two people called?
The apex predators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
answer is the same as Tim.
okay. That means that nobody eats them, right? Yeah. Nobody. But now we're gonna build a food chain pyramid, which, oh no, not bad guy. I need to get out. So first we gotta label each section, I guess. Does anybody want to tell me the names?
Producers.
Producer. What about these?
Consumers.
They're consumers. Do you have a specific type?
Carnivores.
Primary consumers.
Primary consumer.
Oh yeah, by the way, it's supposed to be primary
And then the
producer.
secondary consumers.
Yes, secondary and then apex predators.
And apex predators.
Can you fit it onto the? No, you cannot. Fit
You could
it.
just make text smaller.
Yeah, true.
It's okay, guys. It's not bad. So what would you qualify as a producer here? No, I didn't put a picture. My bad, guys. That's really my bad. Sorry.
So, are you taking phytoplankton?
Ah, phytoplankton's the only producer.
It is the only producer that we have. What about primary consumers?
Zooplankton, krill.
Zooplankton.
Yeah.
And then the krill and the
Fish.
basically everything is on secondary consumer, but I
And,
don't know how we're going to fit all that in
I
there.
should have really had another layer in here, but what if we just
Uh,
pretend there's another layer for the tertiary consumers?
and then
Yeah,
you could just
apex predators is not going to fit.
you
Yep,
could just cover your
100.
apex predators over there.
And then apex predators. So that's pretty easy, right?
Wow, that's a big apex.
Fun
Pretty
fact, Apex is also a running club.
Yes, it is a running club.
I don't know. I don't run, so I wouldn't know.
It's in Stone Ranch.
I think your krill is blocking
also
out
is
the
in
word
Dulcer.
secondary and the
Who is speaking?
That
me.
was Anna.
I think your krill and cod are blocking out the word secondary consumers, making it
It's okay.
very hard to understand.
That's a really long apex.
It's okay. Don't worry about it, guys. We are running out of time. We might not have time to do the look at the end.
We could just hurry and do the book right now.
No, because this is important. You need this to do the booket. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm sure some of you have learned this before if you already learned about food webs. But what would happen if we removed a predator? If we removed the orca? Viola?
Then a lot of things that get eaten by the orca don't have any predators, so they becomes the next apex predator, and they keep reproducing and reproducing until the world is covered with seals.
That's true. But I want you to think about what would happen to the cod after these seals keep reproducing and reproducing.
And the cod gets extinct, and it affects the krill and the zooplankton.
Could die.
Mm-hmm.
Then
so-
krill would overproduce. Then there would be no more zooplankton. And then
And
the
so the
phytoplankton
phytoplankton
would
dies.
in a bunch. What AP equals X? Don't know what that means.
Anna, if we could stop,
That's just apex
damage.
for your information.
but you guys are actually getting ahead of us here. What if we remove a producer? What if we just take away the phytoplankton? What would happen to the zooplankton?
That the other thing was the zooplankton will have nothing to eat, so it'll starve. And
Getting
then the crow will go hungry, so then it'll go extinct. Then it starts.
Penguins.
Then it goes to the penguin and the Arctic cod. They die off. Everything else dies. Just because one animal goes extinct.
Yeah.
Including humans, because humans rely on animals for food, and if animals all die,
we
That's
die.
not good. Now you can
So
see why it's
what-
really important that we stop
yeah.
species from going extinct, right?
Yeah,
If
so
one of them
if one
disappears-
producer goes extinct, it's like toppling a domino. And also everything else just topples.
Same thing with removing apex predators too, which is why it's really important that we stop both plants and animals from going extinct.
Yes, and there's technically species going extinct as we speak.
That's true.
Stop with the apexes.
Exactly.
Yeah, Anna, I think we're trying to keep the chat a little more relevant. So just
Yes, it was a
feel free to
rule.
participate though. Now I want to talk about what would happen if we remove a primary consumer. I think you guys got the idea already. But what if
Yes.
we just remove zooplankton? What would happen to phytoplankton?
Okay. So the
Well, I
first
think
plankton.
Oh, wait, guys.
the
Before you speak, do you want to let Xingming take it? Oh, sorry, Anna. I know you were gonna, but
Yeah, sure. Yeah, take it away. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. Xingming, did you want to answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there would be two. So there wouldn't be anything to eat the phytoplankton. So then there would be a lot of the phytoplankton, and then nothing to eat it.
That's good. What about the krill and the Arctic cod?
I think they might eat the phytoplankton.
Well, they're not adapted to eat the plankton.
But they might adapt to eat the phytoplankton.
Then the phytoplankton would grow too big, and then no one would try to eat it. So it gets too big and too big.
Well,
Very
phytoplankton, there would be more of them, but they wouldn't grow bigger in size.
I know, but they'll grow big. But they'll go like, well, they'll grow more.
Bigger in
That's true.
population.
That's really true. Though, that's a common misconception about evolution. It's okay. But krill and Arctic cod won't be able to eat the phytoplankton because it takes millions of years in order for organisms to develop. And by that time, they would all.
Kill that off.
So, Ximing, did you want to say something? And then Viola.
Also, I think the krill wouldn't have anything to eat, so then the Arctic cod and the penguins won't be able to eat the krill, and then now the Arctic seals and the orcas won't have anything to eat too, and then the baleen whale also doesn't have anything to eat.
That's true. So everything just dies. Viola?
And adding on to Xingmin, if everything else except for phytoplankton, because it has not because nothing eats phytoplankton anymore, it's going to keep reproducing, aka phytoplankton will dominate the world.
Well, I'm not sure about the world because this
Maybe
is
The ocean.
Ocean?
Maybe like in that area, dominate that area.
it would definitely
Probably,
dominate
yeah.
that area, yeah.
Maybe if they grow, there's so much that they clamp up together to make really big, and soon after a long, very long time, everything is smushed up with phytoplankton. The entire ocean is filled with it. Nothing can go inside the ocean anymore. No.
Seriously, Tim?
That'd be a little bad. So
Yeah.
But hey, it's still organic.
it is
Why do I
organic.
feel like Tim is saying the same thing as phytoplankton dominates the ocean?
Well, I want you guys to think about it. When there's more and more of it and there's nothing to eat it, theoretically it would just keep growing, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, there's only a limited number of resources. Only so much phytoplankton can have access to the sunlight, because if one were on top of the other, the one on top would block the one on the bottom from
And
getting
it'll
that
die.
sun.
And it'll die, and then the bodies float over, and then there still destroys the ocean, but the phytoplankton's dead too.
Yeah, so then so basically the phytoplankton would have to compete with each other for enough space, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Ximing's right. We only have 8 minutes, which is not
7.
really enough time. 7 now. So,
But we can extend the time a little bit.
does anybody need to go? I don't know, Kim, if you have time, or Ximing. Maybe, what if I save the booklet as a review for next class?
Okay.
So we can do it in the very, very beginning.
We still have time though.
Yeah, but I need to
Time.
keep going. Well, I guess you kind of got the gist.
There are more.
everything
Thank you
was
for
bad.
the vital information that we already know.
Well, I don't, you see, people are coming
You
from,
realize we're all using electronic devices and we can see the time on the electronic device.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's- that was a little rude, but, it's, what if, I don't, a lot of people are coming in from different backgrounds, so we don't really know what some people know and what other people don't know. So
Egg?
that's kind of just starting from the
Egg.
basics.
Exactly. Egg. Exactly. Get it? Joke?
Yeah. But I guess I did have a practice thing, but I guess we can just skip it. Assuming if you could not count down, I can see the time. But please, thank you. I guess if you guys already all know it, then we can just skip the thing, the practice problems. So I did have a vocabulary review. I think the only important ones here are, what is a heterotroph? Does anybody want to say which one it is?
Me.
Sure.
It is an
And
organ.
oh, match the two columns correctly.
Mhm.
Oh. I think a heterotroph is an organoid, an animal that is no.
A organism that depends on other things for energy.
That's right. Yeah. It's okay, Tim. They're very hard to read in a fast amount of time. And then the other important one is, I think you guys can figure it out, but what is an autotroph?
Plant.
It's an organism that makes its own food for energy.
Mm-hmm.
And kelp is not a plant, by the way.
Really?
And then what about a
Yeah, I learned about it in marine biology class. The other one at summer camp.
It's an animal?
No, I guess it
animal.
hovers between. I don't know. It looks like a plant, but it's not. But let's just I'm guessing I should let someone else say what's a decomposer.
It's okay. You guys can also search up stuff on your own. So
Decomposer is an organism that breaks down dead matter into nutrients.
I think those are the three most important ones. Because you guys know what those are. But I did have a look at. It's okay. We can do it next time. But for your mini project, I know that I think all of you haven't started yet. But by the next class, could you make a copy of the slideshow? And then you need to do some research onto your own ecosystem. And you also want to create a complete food web. Anna, do you have a question? Anna? Okay.
Oh, sorry, my hand was just raised before. I forgot to lower it.
Oh, it's okay. Viola?
What do you mean by you added 3 more slides? Because I was doing my doesn't mean I have to do it again.
No, why don't you can just copy these slides and then put it into your other one. Does that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to do these two, just ecosystems and factors last week.
I
or
did the
before-
food chain as well.
Oh, then you're ahead of the game. And then
Oh, I thought you said the first 3 slides.
oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. And then just make food chains like we did in class today, and then also a food web using the arrows. Sorry, your pictures are in the way. I can't go back to my thing. Sorry. Make a food web just like this one. If you move that.
Cool.
Yeah, so what ecosystem is that food web for?
This food web is for an Arctic ecosystem. Singing. If you guys need to go, it is almost 6 o'clock.
But like,
And
is
then
this
yeah.
is this one of those things where like we're on the same one? Because I'm on it right now and I can see that you're on it. So, but then like we can't all do a different one. We have to do the same one.
That's where you see
Copy
where it
it.
says file up here and make a
Can
copy. You have to
yeah.
make a copy and then you have your own slideshow to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the original slideshow makes the people all viewers, so we cannot edit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can still make a copy, right?
Mm-hmm. And if I knew just to click on file, I did it the old-fashioned way, and I clicked on a lot of stuff.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I should have shared that last time.
Or add it into the directions might be easier. Like to copy the slides, you could click on file and click on copy entire
I can-
presentation.
I can add that.
and
But
At
once
least
you,
I already made my own copy.
it's okay. You got more practicing. I also want you guys to organize them. That should be pretty simple. And then just explain. I guess you can use either words or pictures. What would happen if your apex predators and producers were removed? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm 1 minute late. So bye.
Bye. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Wait, I'm not done yet. I'm doing something.